There you go.
Well, not the burp right off the bat.
Was that a burp?
Yes, girly mama.
I didn't even feel it.
Yeah, coming to you live after watching Nick. What's it called?
Eat?
No. No, like when you eat really quickly, like inhale.
I didn't even eat that fast. That was actually on the slower end of things.
Nick does this thing where like he eats half of his, like he doesn't like go back and forth much between the food. Like he likes to consume one item and then you move on.
I eat the entree. I eat the entree first, and then I move to the sides.
Yeah.
And then if there's dessert, then I have dessert. But I have a very specific routine. I'm a creature of habit. I like things a very particular way. And yes, sometimes people find that strange or off-putting, but I don't give a fuck.
But like, say like if you're eating a burger, like you eat the whole
I would
burger.
never eat a burger. I would never eat a burger.
If you're eating a chicken sandwich,
Mm-hmm.
for those of you that don't know, Nick does not eat red meat on a burger like that. Like he eats chicken nuggets, chicken adjacent things.
I love. Okay,
he will not. You couldn't catch Nick ever eating family meal or staff meal. That's
I ate
given
family
for
meal
the
yesterday.
staff.
I ate family meal yesterday.
Oh, please indulge me. Wow.
It was pasta.
Nick graced all the bottom lower class people for family meal.
No, it's just
because thing is like, Peru, can you order something with me? Oh, if not, I'm not gonna have any of that trash, disgusting low class food the staff gets.
Well, it's usually because I also have food at home that I'm like, oh well, I could make myself this, which I'm more in the mood for than whatever slop we are given. But yesterday,
it's been slay lately.
Well, yesterday was a little interesting. The meat that was given, it was a chicken situation, but looking at the chicken, it looked like there were like bones inside, but then trying to like peel it off, it was like there were no bones, but it looked like it was a chicken. I don't know how to explain, but the chicken situation was interesting yesterday. I ate the pasta because I don't have groceries. I need to go grocery shopping, so I needed to do that because I was supposed to go grocery shopping getting into the town hall, but first,
Hi, my name is Peru.
Pioneer Peru, bitch.
My name is hi, Pioneer Peru.
Jesus, we've been doing this for almost half a year.
Which we're going into, but I'm Pioneer Peru.
I'm Trailblazer Nick, and this is Pioneers and Trailblazers.
And guess what? From the moment that this airs, which is next Monday, this Wednesday, that means in 2 days, it'll officially be Pioneers and Trailblazers 6-month anniversary. Whee!
Yay!
For those we've loved. How does that song go?
What song is that?
Like the congratulations song?
Oh, I don't know.
For those... Something like that.
Congratulations. No, I was gonna say I was supposed to go grocery shopping.
I'm still going into.
I thought I was gonna continue.
Supposed to know when you're grocery shopping.
Well, no, I was gonna go into my town hall because it's related. Because why I was.
Well, I was about to just be like, oh man, thank you for being here for 6 months. May I please talk to the people?
Oh yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here.
We've been doing this for 6 months.
It felt longer.
Nick has 6 months worth of DMs to check, but maybe eventually at the year mark he will. But
I've looked.
In the meantime, all of the comment responses on all platforms, just know it's under Pioneers and Trailblazers, but it is me.
Right, you do love to respond to every comment.
Of course, I want to make sure people feel included. And at the end of this episode, we'll talk a little bit more about something we kind of want to do or try. So stick around for that. But in the meantime, please tell us more about grocery shopping.
No, I was going to say the reason I haven't gone I was supposed to go grocery shopping yesterday, but I didn't because I ended up having...
Oh my god, I have my Pioneer too. So sorry, I'm scatterbrained today. But yes, I have my Pioneer. Remind me. Well, I'll remind myself.
Should I keep talking or are you going to interrupt me again? Wow. We're fighting.
Nick silencing brown voices.
Always.
Oh, look at that's kind of my chain too.
I know, I made the comment.
Once again.
Oh, didn't even plan it. Horizontal stripes, y'all.
I'm giving Latino Ken. El Ken. I can
it is kind of giving Ken.
Yeah, and then you're giving yay.
Yeah, I'm giving like college student.
You're giving college student in the library who's like really cramming for like the science test.
Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't need to because he comes from a wealthy family and like, you know.
Thank you. I love giving wealth.
Yeah. But he intentionally is buying vintage items, you know, to make himself look less wealthy.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I was supposed to go grocery shopping yesterday, but I didn't because I ended up having sex. And let's just where do I begin with this whole situation?
Let's begin, I believe.
Well, I'm gonna start from the beginning, the app that I used. for the girlies who don't know, I did not use any of the traditional gay apps to meet this man. I met him on this app called Field, which for those who don't know, it's an app where it's a lot of it's for people who don't kind of fit under this like a certain umbrella of like a binary way of, you know, dating or having sex with people. It's a lot of people who are polyamorous, pansexual, bisexual, just queer or whatever. So, and there's lots of couples on there because it's like they're looking either to explore their polyamorous side of their relationship, or they're looking to bring somebody in for sort of like a third situation, hookup, whatever. So my friend from Wagon Leaders,
Hi, Elise.
Hi, Elise.
Does she watch?
I don't know. I don't think she does. But she had showed me this guy that she was talking to on there that she made plans to like meet up with, and he was the hottest fucking man I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh my god. She was like, you have to get on there. There's so many hot dudes. And I was like, great. So I get on the app, and sure enough, it's like it's an interesting app, the setup of it, but it's a little bit more. I don't know. There's something about it that I mean, there's a lot of cringy, you know, the things that you would sort of expect from certain like dating apps for people who are like in relationships looking to like fuck around on the side, but like in an ethically non-monogamous way, which is like a little bit like, okay, here we go. But there are some like, you know, cool people on there. And so I matched with this hot older daddy, and he was
okay. We'll leave that label for now.
No. Well, he was hot to me, this hot older man, and we matched. I liked him first, he liked me back, and immediately was like, you're so my type. He has a girlfriend whose profile was also linked to his profile. Yeah, he's like in a relationship with a woman.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me like that?
First shock, because I heard a little bit of the story but not all of it, so now this is my first shock.
Okay, yeah,
I had no idea he was in a relationship with a woman.
Yeah,
he is.
Yes, he's in a relationship with a woman, and they both like, she does not.
What was the list? What was the age listed as?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So he was in a relationship with this woman. She's not based in the city. She lives where their other home is, because he operates out of New York in a different location. And so then he was like, I am going to be in the city next week or whatever. He was like, would love to hang out or whatever. And I was like, sure, yeah. So we were chatting. We made plans to hang out yesterday, which was Tuesday for me. And so then we chat or whatever, and then I asked for his number because I was like, it might just be easier to text than trying to get on this app, because sometimes the notifications I don't get. And he was like, yeah, of course. So he gives me his phone number, and of course the first thing that I do when I get a man's phone number is I Google it, reverse look that shit up, so I get a first and last name, because he gave me his first name, but I love to have a last name, and just because I want to stalk social media, just like make sure that this is a real person, make sure that they're not weird in any way, make sure there's no like fucking, you know, arrests in their past.
It's just really crazy, because if you're gonna be reverse Googling a phone number or whatever, you're doing it once you're getting someone's phone number. How many times do you get a phone number out of Grindr? Like
all the time.
100% of the time, Nick.
Almost all the time that I like hook up with someone, I get their phone number before.
Like this fucking daddy that just fucked you recently, that was the nice daddy who, like, you know, you didn't poop on. Like the one that you were like, oh my god.
I was gonna, yeah, I thought I was going to.
You didn't get his phone number. The one that was like, he was giving you mask vibes.
I said almost all of the time I get the phone number, but I didn't get his number. I didn't get his number, but I usually do get a number. And so I looked up first and last name. Tell me why this man, first of all, on his profile, it said he was 60, which is already old. But when I looked him up, the first thing that comes up is a Wikipedia page for this man, because he had a very powerful job in government for almost like 10 years.
That was a high level, not powerful.
Okay, whatever. High level government job for almost 10 years. And then sure enough, it has his full birth date on there, and he was actually 71. And I looked at that and I was like, I'm sorry, this man's lying about his age by 10 years? And I was like, what? So then I was like, oh, is he using all old photos? We need to look now. So I find his Instagram, and no, man keeps it tight. He keeps it real tight. He hits that gym.
I mean, he keeps it tight for a 70-year-old.
No, but like, I want you to know, this is not your grandma or grandpa 70-year-old. This is a hot muscle gym daddy who's got like his body ripped. He's got a full beard and mustache. He's bald, but like he keeps it tight.
okay, sure, you know, he is in shape, but I am. The thing is, like, there is something to say with like people who look younger or whatever. Like,
he didn't look 71.
He looked 60 for sure.
He looked like he was late 50s, early 60s to me.
No, he looks like he's 60. But, you know, like someone who's at 60, but you know, like with physicality, it is very important to also like point out like the other markers. Like, he is taller, right?
He's very tall, broad.
He's very tall, broad. So like those things add on to somebody's visuals, you know? Like somebody who, like, if you picture right now a 71-year-old, which is someone that Nick had inserted in him recently, Yesterday. Picture a 71-year-old. You're probably not picturing this person. However, once you see this person, you're like, oh, that is a very physically fit 70-year-old.
I will say, I mean, even when in person, so whatever, I was like, I didn't care that you lied about it.
But I mean, it is something I wanted to ask you before we get into the sex, because I'm like, at no point, when you found out this person was 70, even when you knew they were 60, at no point you thought, this is kind of weird.
No, because I know plenty of people who lie about their age.
I'm not saying about the lying of the age.
What are you trying to say?
I wasn't saying that it was weird that they lied about being 10 years younger. Oh, whatever. I was saying, I would have punched you in the face.
You're not the only girl. You're not the only.
No, that's
you're not the only one who wants to punch me in the face.
That's not.
You're not the only one.
I said you didn't think it was weird that a 60-year-old was interested in like a 25-year-old.
No, I don't think that's weird, because I fucked so many old dudes before that I know that they are interested in 25-year-olds. It's just because it's a sex thing. Like, I'm not. Like, I would never.
You don't find it weird? See, I would find it kind of creepy. I would be like a little bit like, this person's like, that would just give me the heebie-jeebies, to be honest.
For me, it really doesn't. It's just because I've had my experiences with older men, and it's like, something could be the same for me. They're like, girl, you're a grandpa fucker. That's weird. You're only fucking old dudes. But it's like, it's just like, I just am turned on by it.
That could be a daddy issue or whatever, or granddaddy issue.
Sure, but like, granddaddy issues.
Title enough.
Granddaddy issues. No, I think I think
grandpa dick.
No, grandpa fucker.
Grandpa fucker.
He's a grandpa fucker.
Oh my god.
No, but like, I have dealt with older men before. If it's someone trying to pursue like a romantic partnership with somebody that's significantly younger than them, then I do feel like a little bit weird about it, because there are power dynamics within that. But if it's just sex, I'm probably gonna get, people are probably gonna think the same thing in terms when it comes to sex or whatever. But I'm like, I just show up, get some dick, leave. Like, there's nothing's coming out of it. He's not taking advantage of me.
Yeah, I guess there is something worth, exploring, being like, wow, why do I like grandparents?
Well, I just think he's hot. I think it's just because there's a mature. I'm like really attracted to maturity, and
I've been noticing that almost to an extreme.
But it's not just like with age. It's the way that people carry themselves, and like there's a certain, because I am a much more submissive person in bed, I do like people who tend to kind of take control and take charge. And from my experience, it's typically older men that do that with me.
But I think with you, it's added on to that. I feel like with you, it's also a matter of not feeling embarrassed or like insecure. I feel like you find that in that older man, you can feel more comfortable in your own skin. I feel like if you think that would apply to you,
kind of. I think like
maybe men who are like more on your age range, or like sometimes like we talk about like, oh, the Hell's Kitchen gays, all those gays who are just like, idiots and assholes, and it's like it sometimes in social settings, like those people are the ones like who can make us feel like insecure or like weird or self-conscious. And then like when you have somebody who is mature,
but I've also felt insecure and like embarrassed with older men before too. It's just a matter
of I guess we're gonna get to that.
Well, it's just like a matter of personality and like the way that they carry themselves and like how we interact. It's mostly my thing is like, I'm attracted to dominance, and I feel like a lot of the guys who are closer in age to me that hit me up on the apps tend to be a little bit more submissive, or tend to be a little bit more like switch, you mean
verse?
Right, but listen, girly, like, but that's the difference, because like verse is like sexual position versus like switch is like between being like dom and sub.
Yeah,
you can still be a top and be
switch.
You know, or like a bottom and be switch, and you could be like a power bottom, dominant bottom, which I'm not.
There's so many switches.
But so then
the electricity bill is going up.
But the thing is like there have been times where it's like, for example, Sniffy's twink, who is like roughly my age, we getting to the point where we started hooking up took forever because he like no one wanted to take charge of the situation, and I'm like, and normally like in my everyday life I tend to just, I guess, take charge of things more so than like at least that's how I feel, whatever. So it's like when I'm with like a man or like having sex, I'm like, I want somebody else to make all the decisions and they do it, because it's like I don't want to have to think about it, because that's just not what I'm interested in. Like I
feel the same as far as like
so
letting go of control.
Yeah. So it's like it's a control thing, and so like I have yet to, and there have been times I fucked plenty of people who are close in age to me. Like I'll get to it later on in the story, but the guy that was at the restaurant yesterday that ruined my life.
Okay, all right.
He's only like 2 years older than me and was like very mature and like fucked the shit out of me, and it was like yes. But anyway, so this daddy who's 71 hates me. I don't care that he lied about his age. I was like, whatever, he's still hot to me, like whatever, it's fine. He sends me a video of him fucking somebody, fucking some twink hole, and he's like, this is gonna be you tomorrow, and I was like, yeah, daddy, yes. And so then we made plans. I woke up yesterday, went to the gym. While I'm at the gym, he's like, are you sure? Like, I told him I could come over at like 1:30 or something, and he was like, you sure you can't come like earlier? He's like, I've been thinking about you all day. And I was like, well, girl, if I finish up early, I'll get there earlier.
Girl, that Viagra pill had a timer on it, bitch.
Oh,
that Viagra pill had a timer.
She said, you better hurry the fuck up. So then he was staying near, like Bryant Park. So then in a hotel, because apparently his apartment that he has in New York was being renovated. So apparently, allegedly so. I mean, he was all set up at this hotel. I was like, okay. It was a nice hotel too that I went to, and so I get there. He's like, I'll meet you in the lobby, because I have to like use my key card to get the elevator or whatever. I was like, fine. So I'm like waiting in the lobby. It's a nice hotel. He comes down. He gets me. He's very attractive. Like in person, doesn't give me 71 vibes. He kind of gives me like 59, 60 vibes. Jesus. And so then we get in the elevator, whatever. We're making kind of like small talk, whatever. We get into the hotel room. I put my stuff down. He like,
yeah, deal, daddy, take note.
Well, okay. So then we put, well, the thing is like, I couldn't tell what the vibe was, because I've had the experience with Deal Daddy, and there were 2 other people in the elevator with us when we like walked in, and
you're sweating,
and I was like looking at him, and I was like, oh, are we gonna like chat, like what's the vibe? And he just like, wasn't that he was like ignoring me, but he was just like kind of like thinking to himself in the elevator. And then when the 2 people left the elevator, then he was like, oh, so like, where did you come from? Like, how'd you get here? Like, kind of like small talk sort of thing. Right,
because people in the elevator were probably thinking, oh my god, that guy's grandpa.
Like,
oh
so
my
cute.
God. They're just like awkward. He's so annoyed at him. Oh my god, he's stuck with the grandpa today.
So then I was like, oh, I came from Brooklyn, and he was like, oh, okay, cool. And so then we get into the hotel room, take my stuff off, we start making out. The making out was really good. We're making out for a bit, and then he undresses me, and then we are just like in our we were fully clothed on the bed, just like making out. And then he was like, I think we should get naked. I said, great. He undresses me, I undress him. The body was nice. He pulls out his pants, and his dick was rock hard, and it was a little bit bigger than I thought it looked like in the video. And so then it was like girthy too, and I was like, okay. Mind you, I had douched before I got over there, obviously. And it was one of the quickest douching experiences that I've had. Wow. Because I did it once. The water came out clear the first time. And I was like, well, let me do
a safety one.
I was like, let me do like 2 more just to be safe. Same thing, whatever, get in the shower. I'm basically fisting myself to make sure that no trapped fleet douche water up there. We were like on the clear, felt no rumbles. We were great. Go to this man's apartment, whatever. He's like, let me get naked. We get naked, whatever. He has me suck his dick for maybe like 2 seconds before he's like, I'm gonna fuck your hole now. And I was like, okay. But then he would do this thing where we were like, first when we were making out, he was like, what are you into? Mind you, I had already told this man, like, via text, like, a full paragraph of, like, what I'm into. And so then I was like, okay, he just forgot because he's old. And so then I'm, like, trying to be sexy, and I'm like, well, I'm a bottom, and I like to service cock. And he goes, no, how do you like to feel? And I was like, girl, what the fuck do you mean by that? And I was like, feel good? And he was like, well, obviously. And then I was like, girl, I don't know. And then he's like, well, it's about your enjoyment too. And I was like, yeah, girl. But I was like, take the lead.
Okay, politician.
No, like literally, I was like, girl,
Okay.
I was like, take the lead, bitch. And so then he's like, I want you to suck my dick. So I sucked his dick a little bit. And then he was like, I want to fuck your hole. And I said, great. All of a sudden, he didn't finger me. He didn't like eat my ass or anything. He just like pulls out the lubes up his dick, and then he's like, you need lube? And I'm like, yeah. And then he starts like, he puts the lube on my hole.
He didn't
and then
rim you?
No.
That's very much like boomer grandpa situation. Like, he doesn't want to eat an ass.
I was like, but there's been so many old dudes that are like similar to that age demographic. I mean, he's certainly the oldest man I think I've ever had sex with, but like older men love to eat my ass, so I think it was just a him thing. And then all of a sudden he's like trying to put the tip of his dick in, and I go, oh no, I stopped him. I was like, I'm really tight, you need to finger me. And he was like, oh yeah, of course. So then he fingered me like maybe for 30 seconds. It was like very quick. And then next thing I know, the dick is going in, and then he's like, is this good? I was like, go slow, like go real slow. So he like slowly put it in, and I could feel like my hold was like slowly like taking it all. Like it was like, it's like, you know, like in Dune 2 in the trailer, and like they had those popcorn boxes that look like a giant butthole. Like that was my whole just like opening up slowly for his dick. And then it was all the way in, and then he started fucking me, and then he was like going at it, and then he was like, I'm flexible, and like I made sure when I was at the gym that I did my full 45-minute stretch routine so my hips could be spread open, bitch. Like I was like, we're gonna pull out all the stops for this old dude, you know? And then he has like my legs.
If it's the last fuck he has.
If he dies on top of me, he's going out with a bang.
Grandpa found dead. Title of the
Put the grandpa fucker in jail. Grandpa fucker killed him. Wait, grandpa got killed. Grandpa got killed. No, grandpa fucker. No, it's like grandma got run over by a reindeer. Grandpa got
killed by a hole.
Oh, I was gonna say like grandpa got murdered by I can't figure it out.
Yeah,
grandpa got killed by a grandpa fucker. It doesn't have a nice ring to it.
No, grandpa fucker strikes again.
I'm the new serial killer, the grandpa fucker. If you're an old dude, no one's safe. My hole will kill you. No, and so then he's fucking me, pounding me out, and he kept being like, is this good? Can I do harder? Can I do harder? And I was like, yeah, go harder, daddy, go harder. So he's like fucking me, and then all of a sudden he like he thrusts in, and then he immediately pulls his whole dick out, and then he's like, we gotta clean up quick. And I was like, I literally was like, what? And then I felt nothing, smelled nothing. I was like, I looked down, and there was like a little like residue on like the top of his shaft, like near like his pelvis. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he goes, oh no, like it happens. And I was like, okay. And when I had gotten there, he like had asked me like what I did for work, and I told him, you know, I was like, I'm a comedian, I'm a writer, but I pay the bills at a restaurant. And then when we like were walking to the shower, he was like, too much restaurant food. And I literally was like, I didn't know how to react and respond, because I think he was like,
and I'm with him. You gotta stop eating these unhealthy foods, Nick. I'm on his side. I'm on Grandpa's side. So
then anyway, he then after that was like kind of like, he was like trying to be nice and whatever, and I think he thought he was being funny, because like I was like, oh, I'm a comedian, and I'm sure he's like, oh, you'll think it's funny, but I was like, not the time or the plates, bitch.
Wait, so is that what happened when you were telling me
There's more. So then he's in the shower. He showers off first. He doesn't ask me to like join him in there or whatever. He just kind of like washes his dick off, and then he goes, okay, you can go. And I was like, okay.
Okay, can we be again? Well, you jumped in the shower, but like, listen. Sometimes during these scenarios, like, it is like you're doing investigative journalism, right? It's like you're trying to get the details and the facts straight. Now, like I said, and it is very true, the last time I had an accident was with I Love You Guy, in which the second time to be fucked, if you didn't watch or listen to that episode, well, I forgot what episode that was, but it was like what, 4 ago or whatever.
Yeah, it was like maybe 3 or 4 ago.
And you know, when something happens, and it hadn't happened to me in a while, you know, famously 3 years. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I want to take a look at the damage. Like some people, if you're scared, someone's just like, let me just wash and like forget about it. I kind of just want to like assess what the situation was, because then it also gives me perspective, like how should I react? Like if it was a mess.
Well, because
like,
I looked, he had laid down.
So you're saying you look, because then sometimes you're like,
he laid down
I want to make sure if he was showering, I would have been like, while he's not looking, I would have grabbed a piece of toilet paper and looked and seen what it was.
Well, it was an open concept hotel room, so it's
does
like,
that make sense though?
No, I know what you mean, but I also
some of the reaction will
I wasn't super embarrassed because he had laid down a towel for us to be fucking on, and so we were fucking on it. So when he got up, I got up and looked at the towel, and there was nothing on the towel. So I was like, oh, okay, so it's not that bad. Like, it wasn't that bad. It must have just been something that like was deep in my body, and because he just
felt or saw it.
Well, because I mean, I did, when he pulled out, there was like a little something on like, again, the top of his like dick, but then but I also was like, it was because he was fucking me really hard. Like, he was like pounding me out. So I'm like, also like, it was going way deeper than I think I was anticipating.
Damn.
So then
Grandpa fucks.
No, Grandpa fucks, girl.
That's the title of it.
No,
Grandpa fucks.
No, Grandpa, he literally fucked the shit out of me. Grandpa fucked the shit out of me. And so then I get into the shower, he like whatever, and as soon as I'm in the shower, I'm like, oh, he's like done, he doesn't want to keep fucking anymore, because then all of a sudden I saw him like it was like open concept hotel room, and like it was just like glass like shower, so like I could see what he was doing while I was like cleaning myself up. And he was like on his phone. It looked like he was like maybe like looking for his stuff to like put his clothes back on, and I was like, oh, it's done, okay, whatever. So like I'm in the shower, and then all of a sudden I'm sticking my fingers at my butt. It's a flood. El Nino, mama. Like, just coming out. And I was like...
shower?
In the shower. And I'm literally standing there like, wait, where was all of this when I was douching like an hour ago? Like, none of this came out. Like, why was it just sitting in my colon? And now all of a sudden she said, hey! So then I was in that shower for maybe like 5 minutes, just going.
It's that plunging. Plunging.
It was the plunging. And so then I'm like fisting myself in the shower, making sure I get it.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry, I basically gave myself a colonic. Like, there was nothing in there because then finally I like was pushing and like whatever, and it was all coming out. It was all going down the drain or whatever. It was like mostly just like water, but it was dark. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I like did a little finger through with some soap, and it was all good to go. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home. So I get out of the shower. All of a sudden he comes up to me, starts making out with me again. And then he was like, I want you to ride it. And then I was like, oh, okay. I was like, sure. He then face fucked me first for a little bit. He was like really into face fucking me, and it was like good. And then it was good. And he sucked my dick for a little bit.
So at that point, what's going through your head? Are you like, am I really gonna do this? Like,
I was like, it's all cleared out now. I was like, all of it came out. Like, I did a wipe through, pushed out. There's nothing else in there. I was like,
wipe through.
I was like, we're good to go.
And everyone listening and watching gotta learn that wipe through, pushed out. Wipe through. It's like the Mortal Kombat fucking like thing.
The combo, yeah.
The combo. Wipe through, pushed out.
And so then he was face fucking me, and then he was like,
Mortal Kombat.
And then he was like, do you want to ride my dick? And I said yes. And then he sat on the bed, and then I like straddled him and like put it in and like whatever, and was bouncing up and down riding it. He was jerking me off while I was doing it. I came like a minute later because I was just like, he was jerking me off, and I was just like, yeah, Danny. And then I was like, I'm gonna come. He's like, yeah. And then I did it. I always do this because like, again, my dick was like pointing right at his face, and I was like, I literally was like, be careful, I shoot really far. Ah! And then I like, and then he was like, yeah, baby. And then I hopped off the dick, and then he like after I hopped off the dick, he like looked down and he goes, oh, I have to clean up really quick. And I was like, again? And he goes, no, it's not you. And I was like, huh? There was nothing on the towel, but he like ran to the shower real quick to like wipe off his dick. And I was like, huh? And then I like put a finger up my butt just to be like, what's there? And there was a little something. And then I was like, oh God, I don't want to put it on the towel because the towel's like bright white and there's nothing there. And so then I was like, and he was like coming back, and it was like on my finger, and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna? I just like put it on my like thigh, but like in like where he like couldn't see it, and I just like there's like brown mark there, and I was like, oh God. And then he comes over and he's like, I want to jerk off like onto you, whatever. He's like, I want you to lick my balls while I do it. And I was like, okay. So then he like he stood over me, my head, like he was gonna face fuck me, and I was just like licking his balls while he jerked off. And then he finished, and then we took a shower again, and then we showered together, and then literally my hole was like, there was nothing left in my hole because he fucked it all out of me. And then he was like making small talk or whatever, and he was like, the funniest thing though, one of the funny things is like when we were getting undressed, I was wearing my Calvin Klein jeans that are button fly, and he like went to like undo them, and he was like, huh? And I was like, oh, they're button fly. And he's like, of course, Brooklyn. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And then we were like making small talk, and then he like asked me like more questions about like the restaurant and just like comedy and like whatever, and I was like explaining to him like the live show that Peru and I do and everything. And then I was like, what do you do?
Did you show him us?
No, I didn't, but I was like, but what do you do? Knowing full well I know this man's entire work history. Yeah. Like I know everything about him. When he left office, what country he was ambassadoring to. And so then he was like, oh, like he's like, I retired like a while ago, but now like I'm doing like real estate stuff mostly. He's like, I'm kind of a vagabond. I just kind of travel around everywhere. He's like, but I'm usually like in, New York most of the time, and then, other places. And I was like, oh, what other places? And he's like, overseas. And I was like, oh, where overseas? And he was like, like Europe. And I'm like, oh, heard of it. I've certainly heard of that, knowing full well which country. And then before I left, I was like, he's never gonna want to do this with me again. Cause like, after we took the shower, we're in the bathroom. He got out of the shower first, and there's a bath mat down or whatever. And then I get out of the shower. I'm drying myself off. I guess I wasn't fully standing on the bath mat. And he goes, oh, and like points down to like the ground at my feet. And there was like a big puddle of water. And I was like, oh. And he goes, yeah. I was like, oh, sorry. He's like, yeah. Do you want to? And so I had to like use the bath mat to like soak up the water because I was like, oh. And then someone at work was like, well, maybe it's because he's old and scared he was going to slip. Oh. And then I was like, oh, that's true. And then he fucked up my hair because I was, and this goes into the rest of the story. This is where it gets bad. So we were fucking, and I had just washed my hair. Like, it was hair wash day yesterday. And so my hair was looking cute. I had dried it, but it wasn't fully dried because I didn't have enough time, like, to use the hair dryer to its full extent before I was on my way because I was horny and I wanted to get fucked. And I was like, you know what? If my hair's not going to get that bad, it's fine. Forgot to bring a hat just in case. So then we're fucking, and he was really into hair pulling and, like, whatever. And so by the time we're done, my hair looked a mess. Like, it looked crazy. And I was like, what am I gonna do? I was like, well, I don't want to get it wet because I don't have a hairbrush to comb through it because this man was bald, so I'm not gonna be like, hey, do you have a brush I could borrow really quick because he don't got hair. So then I'm like, so then I leave the hotel. He like says goodbye to me. He was like, that was really hot, we should do this again. He was like, I would love to see you again. And I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, like, hit me up, you have my number. And he's like, okay, great. And I was like, cool.
Blocked.
So then I didn't block me, but I was like, he's like, I'm like kind of all over the place, but like when I'm in town. I was like, girl, you got my number, just text me, it's like fine, whatever, you don't have to do this. And so then I left, and then I ended up going to like a CVS and got a hairbrush because I was like, I'm gonna have to comb through my hair just because like it was bad. So then I bought a hairbrush. I needed a new one anyway. I get to work, I'm in the bathroom, I'm brushing my hair out, and I have curly hair, and for the girlies who have curly hair, no, if you try to brush that shit out, it's frizz central, and it just puffs. It looks puffed out and crazy. And as I'm doing it, I'm brushing my hair, like on the verge of tears because it looks so bad. And there's the hottest man I've ever seen in my entire life in the bathroom at work who comes up next to me at the sink to wash his hands. And he is so my type. He's like Brooklyn artsy, has a mustache. Like he's.
I thought your type was grandpa's.
No, I meant for like a boyfriend mama, and like had a little mustache. He like had a mustache, and like he like was wearing like a really cute outfit, and he was like so. Like, he was definitely, like, gay. And I was just like, no! And I'm, like, crying as, like, I'm brushing my hair. And then it looked really bad. And I'm, like, trying to wet it to make it look cute. And then I, like, expressed to Elise, shout out to her again, expressing to her, I was like, I'm having the worst hair day of my life. And she was like, oh, no, it's okay. She was like, it doesn't look bad. And I was like, I know. I'm just, like, feeling really insecure about it. 10 minutes later, Ashley, one of our managers, walks into the room. And she looks at me and she goes, did everyone get blowouts today? And I looked at her and
that's typically something Ashley so because Ashley's just like unfiltered but in a different way. She's not unfiltered because she's mean, but she's unfiltered because she just the biggest ray of sunshine.
No, she's
at fucking work.
No, yeah, nothing that she says has malicious intent to it.
Never. So like her saying that is just Ashley just being Ashley and saying what's on her mind.
No,
like,
and
she never has any malicious intent.
And immediately I was like, no, I just was having a bad hair day and I like tried brushing it and it just turned into this. And then as soon as I started going to that, she was like, I think she felt bad that she like said something and whatever. And she's like, no, like it looks good. Like it looks good. And I was like, it's fine, girl. Like it's okay. Thank you. Whatever. She's like, I was just saying that because Natasha upstairs like has her hair straight today. And like, and then I just saw your hair.
Yeah,
I was like, girl, like it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Such Ashley.
But then I was having a horrible hair day. And then lo and behold, I'm at work and I'm like feeling ugly, like just like having a bad day. Even though I got fucked, but I didn't feel the sex. Upon reflection, wasn't that great. If we're really thinking about it, it wasn't like
Nick. I told you this. Like, I don't know. I am sorry if this makes me old school, but I don't know how great sex with a 70-year-old can be. As a 25-year-old.
No, I'm
sure
listen, there were certain aspects that were good. I think it was mostly just not that great because of one, the accident, and two, like that made me feel a certain way, and then also just like the vibe was a little bit weird. Trust me, I've hooked up with men who are like late 50s.
That's
60s.
Honey, that's 20 years difference.
No, but like no, like early 60s who like lay it down, who really like, you know what I mean? It's just again, it's person to person. It's not a whole demographic of people. You can't generalize all old people and say they're bad at fucking. That's not true. Some of them are really good at it.
That's not saying it's bad, but like great.
Right, but it wasn't that. But I just upon for the reason I've had better sex. It wasn't the worst sex I've ever had, but also wasn't the best sex I had. It was very neutral.
Well, yeah, you should have known that.
But anyway, so then I was just like, wasn't having like the best day. And then I look over at the little iPad for reservations, and what do I see? I don't know. This was a long time ago. This was almost like maybe 6 months ago, maybe like the third or fourth episode. But a bisexual man who ruined my life, who I met with on Raya. We went on like 2 dates together, and by 2 dates I mean he came to my apartment and fucked the shit out of me and spent the night, and then was like making it seem like he was gonna like try to wife me up. Was I delusional? Probably, but that's what it felt like. And then he randomly ghosted me, and then a couple months ago randomly came into we have to cut that. Wait, hold on.
There has been a cut here because Nick disclosed our work.
Sorry, start over.
And so
let me start over. Okay, so
okay, that's okay. We're just gonna cut around the restaurant that you mentioned.
Okay, so like
he came into the work.
So 2 months ago, came into place of work while I was upstairs with Peru with the girl on a date. Pretended that he did not know who I was.
Nick
did not address me. Anyway, his name had been checked in for a reservation, and I thought to myself, are you fucking kidding me? I'm having a bad day. I look bad. My hair worse it's ever looked. And now this man who ruined my life, who did not know who I was 2 months ago, is now back at my place of work because one, clearly he doesn't remember, which means that he does not care enough to remember, which is then like literally like knife in the heart. I'm like, and then also I'm like, girl, what the fuck are you doing here? Leave. And then thankfully they ended up not staying. They like checked in, but then they came super early and the table wasn't gonna be ready until like 9, and that was too late for them. So then they like ended up just leaving and didn't come back. And I was like, thank God. But I was like, the universe really had it out for me yesterday. Like everything that could go wrong kind of did.
Well, sorry to hear that.
So that's my town hall.
That
was long. I'm so.
Well, since I have 5 minutes left to talk for the episode,
that's honestly too much.
Let me say this. I had the best. No,
please.
I don't think. Actually, that's a lie. Like, had I seen this person, which town people,
what person?
You rest assured, your granddaddy.
Oh.
I saw Grandpa, Miss Granddaddy. We Googled, we did the investigative journalism. Like, am I saying, was he an attractive 70-year-old? Yes, absolutely. Have I met men like that at that age in like Midwest? I can see how that kind of person exists. Like, it's not like an anomaly. So I am here to say these people exist.
Are you about to be ageist? Are you about to be ageist right now?
Yes, in a way, because
Wow.
I don't think that I could.
I mean, that's okay. Like, you don't have to. No one's like holding a gun to your head being like, you have to fuck a 71-year-old.
Oh no, in that point I would. but
or if they're offering money.
Well, of course, $50, a sweet green salad, then I would do it.
Oh, those are so expensive. Yeah, I would.
But
I did that shit for free, obviously.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess to each their own.
That's how I feel when you're talking about fucking like twinks. That's how I feel about like when you're getting like topped by like a 23-year-old. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Well, because
I feel like there's more virility for me, but I guess it's also me being ageist, being like, why can a 70-year-old person have the virility the 20? But ultimately, science. I'm sorry to be a science girly, but like science says, you're much more like in your peak sexually in that age, I guess, according to studies. But then I'm sure there are the exceptions to that rule, and maybe him is and his behavior was kind of like interesting to me.
His behavior was really interesting. I think it's just because it was like so quick. I don't know. He like, we also didn't like have a whole lot of like, I don't think we would ever like hang out outside of like a sexual context.
No.
There've been plenty of times where there's like old dudes where it's like, oh, we get along fairly well, and it's like, I would like, if you ever were like, oh, you just like go grab a drink sometime and just like hang, I'd be like, that's fine, like we have plenty of stuff to talk about. I just think that we didn't have a whole lot in common in terms of just like interests and things. Like he was very like type A, which I sometimes can be, but like,
oh, I am type A in everything, but I'm in type B in, I grew up thinking I was type B because I'm an artist and I'm so loose and goose and whatever, but like
loose and goose, just like the whole mama.
Yeah. But the older I got, the more I realized I was like, wait, I think I'm type A because I'm a control freak. Like I like being in control. I know that everything that I do is right. Whatever.
Well, me too. I guess maybe he's much more like what's the word, like left brain versus like right brain, because he was like he had a tattoo that was like of like an atom structure or something, and I had asked about it, and he was just like, didn't give me a whole lot to work with. It was just like, oh, it's an atom structure, and I was like, oh, cool. Like I wanted like why you have that, like what's the reasoning behind it, like what's the meaning?
I mean, his first wife was like a biologist or whatever.
Who knows? Well, I mean, it looked I mean it was a really nice it looked like it not like fresh, but it looks like he had gotten it within like the last couple of years. It didn't look like he'd had it for. Well,
when you're retired, you got
plenty
of time.
But I think like it's a thing that I sometimes come up with like these older dudes where some of them are just like way too serious. I think he was just like way too serious, and then I just wasn't obsessed with the way that he was like it was nice of him to be like, well, what do you want? Like, what do you like? Which is like, great, check in.
Yeah, but just take control.
But it's like, but ultimately, like, I had expressed that I like to be more submissive and like the other person to take control. And so then like I had expressed that, and then maybe he just like, but he also told me like when he was messaging me that he was like a dom top, and he didn't really give dom. He was giving. He was just giving. He was giving like soft top, which is like, which is a real thing, and it's nice, and it's great, and I would love that.
Speaking of that,
I would love that, and maybe like a boyfriend or something, but not
whatever.
Not like a one-time fuck.
Speaking of that, I'm tying in because I've been having plenty of sex the last few days, as always. But I did want to tie in I did want to tie in my quick town hall now into one of our townsperson suggestions.
Okay.
Yay! So I did memorize it from my phone.
Or I can pull it up too if you need.
No, it's from my account.
Oh, it's not on Pioneers and Trailblazers.
It's not on Pioneers and Trailblazers. So my account. By the way, if you really want to submit any town hall suggestions, just DM us on Pioneers and Trailblazers on Instagram, or send us a DM to me or Nick, though he won't read it. And then, I'll review and see. Thanks for all of that. But keep engaging, keep sending us. And also we're doing, Rate Your Nude. So give us that. We love if you are sending took a new nude, want us to evaluate it. We'll give you some ratings. This came from Zach in New York, actually.
Okay, hometown sis.
And Zach's town hall topic was, which ties into something that happened to me 2 nights ago. Why do some people like to cuddle after hooking up?
Oh, I love it.
And he said, because once like we're done, like I want to get the fuck out of there. Like I'm not trying to cuddle. So, and I think the question I didn't really discuss much, and thanks, Zach, for your submission. But I wasn't really. I should have inquired more on like, you're not dating. I'm assuming it's just on a hookup, whether the person wants to cuddle. So 2 nights ago, the same guy who lives here, who like I've been fucking on the reg, whose
roommates
with stalker guy. If you know that, again, please revisit the episodes. But it's actually less of, I mean, he was kind of stalkerish for a bit, but then he just became like obsessed with me. Like, it wasn't really like he was like stalking me as much as he was just really obsessed with me.
Sure.
Which I guess is maybe same thing, but also 2 separate things.
To me, that's stalker. If someone shows any sort of interest in me, I'm like, you're obsessed. Like, you need to back the fuck up.
If somebody shows any interest in Nick, he's just like, oh my god, ideal boyfriend.
No, I'm like, he's in love with me.
But anyway, so 2 nights ago, I have him like saved whenever like I'm horny, like late at night, and like I'm okay with having somebody over. So like I have.
Well, he also lives in the building, so I'm sure it's not that hard to find him on the grid.
No, but sometimes like he doesn't log on or whatever, so I just have him.
Oh, okay.
And so I had sex earlier, and so I was like, oh my god, I'm horny again. I was like, hey, when you get home, do you want to like fill me up? Like, do you want to breed me? Whoever thinks this is gross or whatever, like, I don't care. But like, one of my favorite things to say when I'm really horny and I'm really like, even when I'm having sex, like,
fill me up.
I love saying fill me up. I love saying breed me. I think it's really hot. Fill me up, breed me, and
I love going nonverbal. I love just like not talking and just like being there.
No, I love, because if I'm really going verbal, it's either one or 2 things. You're doing it good, or you're not doing it good, and like I need to like pepper it up, by just like getting some enthusiasm going.
Yeah.
For the most part, if like I'm having sex with you and I'm getting verbal, it means like I'm really into it. You'll know, because if you're fucking me and I don't feel like it's going well, or like it's kind of boring, I'll get verbal, but I'll also be asking you to switch positions a million times, which is not a good sign. Like, if I'm just being verbal and you're just doing whatever, like, then it's because like, you're taking control, you're taking me on the whatever ride you want me to go on. Like, I'm not dictating all the positions we're doing. If I'm dictating all of the positions and being verbal, like, red flag. Like, might as well just be like, I'm never fucking this guy again. Like, because you're in the burn book for me. But anyway, so then I told you, actually, I think I said this just very, very subtly a few episodes ago when he fucked me last. And he came over, and he always comes over like at midnight-ish and whatever. And so he comes over, he fills me up, and then he wants to lay down. And last time, he's laid down with me a few times, but last time he laid down. And he laid down for like 20 minutes. And like, I was getting sleepy, he was getting sleepy, and I was like, okay, homeboy, like, it's time to go.
Did you say that? Time to leave?
Of course. Of course, honey. I was okay, baby. Time to go. I'm falling asleep. It's not, you're not. And so 2 nights ago, we fucked. It was one of the better fucks that we had. It was good. Like, he was like spanking me. He was just like doing it all. And here in this bed.
Was Clover watching?
No, Clover was outside. And so we finished, and like he's like, I'm like off at the edge of the bed, and he's just like filling me up, and I was like, bleh. And then I was like, and I like it when what's so funny, like as a bottom, like what gives me like power is that, because I've said this famously, I love to time myself. Like, I like to come at the same time that the guy comes. Like, he can tell me within 10 seconds that he's about to come, and I'm like, got it. Like, I can make myself come.
Oh, I can't do that.
Oh, honey. And it's so sexy when we're both coming. I think it's just so hot. Sometimes, like, the timing is off, but, like, 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. And so what happened 2 nights ago was that he was like, oh, I'm coming. And I was like, oh my God, great. And so, like, when tubs do that and, like, I haven't come yet, I love being like, keep fucking me. Keep going. And then, like, a lot of times they're like, oh yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna keep fucking you. And I'm like, yeah, keep fucking me until I come. Sometimes the tops are just like, okay. And then you can tell, like, it's like work for them to keep fucking them because they're so overtly stimulated. So like this time, this guy's fucking me, and I'm like, don't stop. Like, keep fucking me because I got 30 seconds of me and I'm about to him. And so he's like, all right. And I could feel his body just like, he's like literally building Noah's Ark. He's just like, all right, like I'm doing this. I got this. And I feel like that's also kind of like hot in like a Dom way, as a Dom sub. Like, I'm being like, yeah, you keep fucking me, don't stop. He's just like, okay. And so I did. And then we were laying down. We start cuddling. And then we start talking about life. And, like, we never had, like, this honest or an open of a conversation before. We were talking about, like, what we do. And, like, he actually, LOL, like, a couple of months ago sends me a message being like, not your podcast popping up on my TikTok feed. And I was like, sorry.
Wait, that was so strange.
Oh, is this the start to all of those that just watched that reaction? It's been snowing in New York, and then like the snow, I guess, from the top of the building above us just melted and just dripped in front of us. That was
so crazy.
That was very crazy and very apropos.
Sure.
Yeah, that was the guy coming. And so I found myself getting very into our cuddling.
Future husband?
And he was like, no, but he was like very much like, what's wrong with this? You know, like, why can you cuddle? Like, are you afraid? You know, you're gonna fall in love. And like, it was getting kind of like, it almost turned into like a very like movie like situation where like you're just rolling around in bed, and like he pulled me up, and I was like riding him, but not like fucking. Like I was just like on top of him. And then he's like saying stuff, and I'm like saying flirty stuff back, and he's like saying stuff, and like we're just rolling around in bed, and we're just laying down. Like I was like, wait, are we being romantic right now? And I guess that goes to the question. To me, cuddling with a hookup can be nice for like 10 seconds just to catch your breath. But then anything after that, to me, feels intimate. And intimacy for me can be sexual intimacy or romantic intimacy. What happened 2 nights ago was veering into romantic intimacy, but in like a flirty way. Like almost like we had just had sex for the first time and we had been dating or whatever. And like we were just bonding over like how like sex just checks the box now, you know? Like, yeah. Oh, everything else aligned and like check. Now sex aligned too. So we're just being cutesy and flirt. Not only that, then I was like, I have this insecure thing I say when guys try to carry me, and this is something I always say, and it's an insecurity of mine, but anytime a guy carries me when we're fucking, I'm always like, I'm much heavier than I look. I always say that. I don't know where that comes from. Like, clearly, I definitely have, like, you know, like, I've had ED before. Trigger warning. Well, actually, not even trigger warning, but I'm not.
Erectile dysfunction.
No, you idiot. But, I mean.
No, but I know what you mean, because I do the same thing. Like, I've had guys carry me before, and I always, like, get so nervous when they do it. And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. And I'm always like, hey, like, I'm much heavier than I look. And I'm even trying to be, like, flirty and funny when I say that. But I'm also, like, I want to put that.
Because some of these bitches don't look strong.
Well, this guy who was here 2 nights ago, I'm not saying he's a dancer. Like he's tall, he's got like a good body. But like I wouldn't say like he's like muscly, right? He's like toned. He's like a dancer's body. But he was trying to carry me. He was like, well, I can carry you. And I actually forgot the context of this, but then like we were like here on the bed. And he was trying to carry me. I was like, you can carry. I was like, I'm much heavier than. Like, he's like, what? You think I can carry you? And then like he goes and like he's like, wrap your legs around me. Like he carries me, lifts me, stands up here, like bends me like Dirty Dancing style, like bends me all the way down. As my legs are wrapped around him, like this is him and me. He like goes like, and I'm like, my head literally touches the floor.
You're like plasma and the challenge last week.
I'm just like and then like he like lifts me up like using all of his core energy, and like he like pumps me back up, and he's like, you think I can carry you? And I was like
that's future husband, mama.
Well, I don't think future husband, because like, but it was.
Why not?
I don't think well, I don't know. I don't think we're both necessarily thinking relationship-wise.
Dear future husband, here's a few things.
But it was very interesting, and it wasn't interesting. But I mean, for me, that kind of intimacy is reserved for someone that like maybe I've had sex more than a few times with, and like maybe I'm interested in hanging out outside of hooking up, you know, somebody that I want to see. And so like, I guess to ask you the question before we've got like 10 minutes, right?
Like we should probably cut it in like 5. Yeah.
Okay. So like to ask you, like, cuddling, I know you are a fucking idiot romantic too, like me, but for you, like, if a guy cuddles you after coming, you probably would start crying from joy.
No. I do like, okay, so it depends on the person. I think there are, like, if it's a person that I just met and like we don't, like, for example, the daddy yesterday, we didn't cuddle afterwards, and I don't think I would want to. And if
there wasn't a connection to cuddle, really,
right, that's what I'm saying. If there's like a connection with somebody, sure. There are plenty of people that like I've had sex with where it's like we have like a connection, but like it's not romantic. It's like probably more like just sexual and platonic. But I'm fine cuddling them just because like it does feel nice, and I do like that sort of intimacy, even if it's just you know like there's nothing behind it, like no meaning to it. And there was like a guy that my former fuck buddy of mine when I used to live on the Upper East Side, where like we used to spend the night together. It would like started off where we would like fuck, and then we would just like spend the night and like hold each other in bed and then call it the day. Mm-hmm. And then it would slowly kind of decrease to the point where after we would fuck, I would try to stay and cuddle just a little bit, and he'd be like, I have an early day tomorrow, so, and I'd be like, oh, okay, like whatever. But like it's nice, like I enjoy it if it's like if the connection is, you know, good and whatever, and as long as like we're both with the understanding that like, oh, you know, this isn't like serious, this is just like we're just cuddling because it feels good. I love cuddling. I'm just like, my physical touch is one of like my love languages, and so I think like, but not that I'm saying that I'm in love with these people, but like,
yeah,
but it's I like just, and especially after sex, like if I'm tired and like I worked up, you know, a sweat or something, like I just want to lay down. I don't want to be kicked out right away. Like let me like catch my breath, let me just kind of like lay there for a little bit.
Yeah, I think catching your breath is one thing for sure, but like I don't feel like people who just want to exit right away should be judged, because
no,
like,
I mean there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, ultimately like you are there to hook up, so like it's like the added bonus to like have a connection and like want to cuddle and want to talk.
Sure.
You're catching your breath. Obviously, everyone's like wiping up. You know, can you hand me the towel? Here's a towel. Do you need something else? Like, you know, you're like toweling off, cleaning up, and then you're like doing like small talk. So what are you doing for the rest of your day? You know, like, what are you up to tomorrow? You know, the usual small talk.
Yeah.
But I feel like if somebody just wants to bounce, or if the person who's hosting is just like, all right, well, that was fun. You know, if somebody says like I have a busy day tomorrow, y'all, let me tell you, before we wrap this up, clip this for socials.
We should end by this. We should just be done recording in 3 minutes.
I'm just saying, like, if the host tells you, well, I have an early morning tomorrow, or need to get up,
take that as a personal assault. They hate you and they want you dead.
Or they just like are asking you politely to leave, and as a person who's a guest, you should take that in stride and get the fuck out of there. Don't overstay your welcome, please.
Also start sobbing in front of them and let them know that they hurt your feelings.
Anyway, a quick Trailblazer.
Wait, you first. You have one. I don't know.
Yeah, my pioneer is I took a soul cycle class this morning, as I love to do. Mm-hmm. And oh my god, leave it to faggotry to stay alive in any forum, because this faggot was, and I know he was a faggot, he was like biking in front of me. No, I mean, I'm in the front row always, but he was like on the sidebar, just for y'all to know. And he was there, and then we're like, oh, we're all sweating, it's intense and crazy, and then we're like, ooh, break between songs. Little fag unzips his little shorts, pulls out a chapstick, and fucking chapsticks his lips in the middle of the soul cycle class. We're all sweating, we're all fucking like hyperventilating, and this bitch is like pulls. I'm like, what a fucking pioneer, this fag, to just be like, I'm gonna fucking like chapstick my lip.
Girl, it's cold outside. You gotta make sure the lips are hydrated.
It's like 100 degrees in the class, and he like, what is the point of you like fucking like balming your lips? Like, you just,
they're probably chapped, girl.
Yeah, but like we're all sweating. Like, this is not the place to do it. But of course, like a fag will find a way.
Sweat dries out your skin.
It was so funny though, because literally we're like, oh yeah, all right, everyone gets 20 seconds before the next song, and like the next song's playing. We're trying to get on the beat, and like just pulls out like beep, beep, and I was like, I literally stared at him for like 30 seconds. I was like, you fucking idiot. I love him.
We love
him.
my trailblazer for the week is the man on the train on my way here today who was singing for everybody and nobody wanted him to, and there was a moment there's a moment where he was like, no, I'm gonna find the beat, and then he's like started singing, and then he's like, nope, that wasn't it, hold on, I'm gonna find the beat and then when he finished he was, oh, is no one gonna clap? And no one did. And you know what? Listen, you got to be your own biggest fan. And he is. So, and then real quick, that was my trailblazer. We're thinking about maybe possibly doing a Instagram live to celebrate the 6 months of Pioneers and Trailblazers podcast. We'll set up a poll on the Spotify for everyone to vote on of like what kind of time of day would work if you would like to join in. We're thinking about doing it next Wednesday or this upcoming Wednesday by the time that this episode comes out.
Which will be the anniversary, 6 months anniversary.
So look for that poll, vote. If you are interested, follow us on Instagram at Pioneers and Trailblazers. Subscribe on YouTube, Pioneers and Trailblazers. You can follow Peru at Hey Peru everywhere, and you can follow me at Nicholas.Rose on Instagram, ClownFaceBinch on TikTok, and ClownFaceBitch on Twitter/X. Thank you. Love you. Happy 6 almost months. Bye.